Throughout the latest iteration, the latest portion, the latest edition of All Things Candace, as the drama continues, what you are watching is not a policy dispute. It's insanity. It's an analogy, but it's not a professional breakup either. It's not even a normal media feud. It is a live demonstration, live fire, so to speak, of how quickly self-proclaimed champions of free expression, and that's the part that killed me. They start reaching for the gag, for the mouthpiece, to gag him, to shut him up, when the wrong person basically refuses to stay in her assigned lane. That's exactly what they want to do. Because the moment, and I say this again, the moment that Candace Owens stopped performing the safe version of Candace Owens, the bought and sold, rather anodyne, safe, kind of neutered Candace Owens, the moment she stopped asking permission, the moment she stopped playing along with, the donor-friendly script, which is exactly what this is, and the moment she started pulling threads in public, the entire glossy, unicorn, cotton candy ecosystem that sells itself as fearless instantly showed its real face. And it's not courage, it is control. And the most revealing part, the most ever, is not that people disagree with her, but how they disagree with her and how coordinated the tone becomes, orchestrated, and how the same handful of names and platforms and loyal foot soldiers suddenly sing from the same hymnal, not engaging her points, not calmly rebutting evidence, not competing in the marketplace of ideas the way it's supposed to be, but trying to make the conversation itself feel dirty and forbidden, trying to convert curiosity into taboo, trying in essence to declare that certain questions are immoral or wrong or evil. And that is the tell, because when an argument is strong, you answer it. You don't try to make the person asking it untouchable. And what has unfolded right now around Candace is a classic playbook that anyone who has ever worked around power recognizes immediately. First comes the framing. She's not wrong. She's unwell. There's something wrong with her. Well, what do you want from this anti-Semite? This crazy woman, this evil woman? She's sick. She's sick. There's something wrong with her, right? She's not probing. She's spiraling out of control. She's not investigating. She's grifting. That's a new favorite word. She's not asking questions. She's endangering people. And once that label is stapled to her forehead, the rest of the mob feels licensed to treat her as subhuman, as some troll, as some vermin, as some sick person. And the gaslighting starts, the true gaslighting starts, to mock her faith, and don't think that's not a part of this. Oh, no. Mocking her faith. It's funny how it goes. It doesn't go both ways. Certain faiths you can mock, and some you can't. And they sneer, they laugh at her instincts to clip her words into caricature and to say with a straight face, by the way, speaking of clipping words, but to say with a straight face that this is all in defense of truth and decency. And the irony, I keep saying that, the irony is thick enough to spackle a wall. Because these are the same circles that built their brands on telling America that the real problem is censorship. The real problem is narrative control. The real problem, they told you, are the gatekeepers. See, that's the problem. Because until the day comes when an internal dissenter proves that the call is coming from inside the house, and then suddenly the speech, the absolutists become speech accountants. They auditing every little word. Who was allowed to speak and on what terms and about which subjects and with what particular tone and with what moral posture, and with what pre-approved, allowed conclusion. And the cleanest part, cleanest, the most pure example of this is the posture of that sniveling Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire and their sick universe, and how they've responded. Because as you know, this is axiomatic, but a normal response to a former employee whose work you dislike, but whose work you loved, and you made money from them, you move on. You build your own content. You ignore them. You rebut and deal with specific claims. You let the audience decide. But what people describe here is something else completely. This fixation, this preoccupation, this habituation, this focus, the need to keep her name in the mouth and the spirit, the compulsion to turn her into a warning label of some sort, and this public scolding from a stage as if he's issuing some kind of a fatwa against curiosity. The message not merely that he disagrees, but that others are obligated to denounce her. And then the part that really gives the game away, the revival of old intellectual property and the repurposing of channels and formats to create mockery content that is not designed to debate, but to humiliate, or really, if you think about it, to maybe draw some people to their side because nobody's watching them. The only way they can provide anything is not humiliate Candace, but just provide Candace. People can't get enough of her. You know, in essence, they're trying to train the audience to laugh on cue and to make the act of listening to her feel embarrassing. Because, my friend, is simply this. The ridicule is cheaper than refutation. And it spreads faster, and it's easier to digest, and the trolls love it. You know, when a person or a company chooses ridicule over direct engagement, it's usually because direct engagement, what would be preferred theoretically, risks maybe legitimizing the questions. And see, that is what this is really about. Legitimacy. They hate her. Candace isn't supposed to be the one directing the attention. She's not supposed to be the one. She's supposed to be she's supposed to be the one setting the agenda. She's not supposed to be the one pushing beyond that which is approved, this approved perimeter. And by the way, aren't we glad that she broke away from this? And they know it. And the panic is not that she is talking, it's that people are listening. And you can see the same dynamic repeated time after time across the broader reaction machine. You get the loud moralizers who insist they're defending the grieving and defending the movement. You don't understand. Candace doesn't understand. Erika Kirk, leave her alone. Don't question her. Don't question the narrative, the story, the official storyline. We're just defending the movement, defending decency, while behaving like morons and hall monitors and these sick bastards and these children who are trying to impersonate grown adults. And you get the faux tough guys. And that's the thing, too. See, that's the thing. They're deep down inside. Little Benny and others want to be tough, really tough. But nobody looks at them and says, you're... Because deep down inside, they're implicit. Deep down inside, it's sniveling. It's cat-like. You know what I mean? And those who posture their protectors like they're making it clear that their real target is the woman who will not submit. See, you get the opportunities on social platforms to treat her kind of like a trending topic, to farm, engagement. And what you also do is you get the truly unserious folks, the unserious, who swing wildly between calling her a liar and admitting that they're terrified of what she is uncovering. And be not mistaken, they are terrified. She poses such an existential threat to that group. And all of it adds up to one central truth. And this is what's important. There is a class of conservative media power brokers, like Benny and the rest, who love free speech as a slogan and fear it as a reality. Because you see, real free speech means you can't control where the conversation goes. And what scares these twits isn't opposition, it's the unpredictability. Candace is unpredictable because she is not speaking to please anyone. She's not pleasing to assuage their fears. She's not calibrated to protect their relationships. And she is not, believe me, not afraid to step on the toes of people who are used to being treated as untouchable, special. And that is why the reaction feels so personal and so punitive. And she's hurt by this. Don't let anybody fool you. She's tough. She's not going to break down, but it hurts her. Because when power is accustomed to deference, even I guess, ordinary independence feels like an attack. And so they respond with social punishment. They try to shun her with this coordinated belittling and this defamation, with insinuations about motives, with guilt by association, with an endless repetition of the same dismissive line designed to short-circuit thought. And that line is always some variation of stop asking questions. Stop looking there. Stop making people uncomfortable. And that's not even an argument, of course. That's just an admonition. That's a leash. That's a limitation. And the leashing, so to speak, attempts are the real story. Not whatever label they slap on it. Because if Candace Owens were truly not, if she were truly irrelevant, they wouldn't be spending this much time and energy. And recently, the idea of going back into Daily Wire and bringing up her old show is so sniveling, so over the top. And if her work were truly baseless, they wouldn't need to mobilize defamation or mockery squads and proxy commentators and this performance outrage to drown it out. No. They could simply present a clear timeline, release clear documentation, answer clear questions, and move on. And yet, what keeps showing up in the public theater is posturing and this sermonizing, this indignation, and these demands for standards that somehow only apply in one direction. Candace must meet, I guess, a burden of proof so high it becomes impossible to speak while the people attacking her are allowed to say anything, to imply any motive, to just besmirch and defame her and smear her good character and to misrepresent her claims with zero evidence and no accountability. And that kind of asymmetrical basis is not an accident. It's the operating system, because the point is not fairness. The point is hierarchy. And by the way, you know and I know there are people who are allowed to speculate and people who are not, and people who are allowed to accuse and people who must basically never ask any questions. See, that's the thing. And when someone crosses that line, the system activates. And it activates in the same way every time. First by trying to isolate her from allies, then by trying to make her audience feel ashamed. That's what they want to do with you. And then by trying to flood everything, to flood the ecosystem, as they say, with noise, so no single thread can be followed cleanly. And then by trying to frame and push back as harassment or danger or moral depravity, which, by the way, is inconvenient because it turns the accused gatekeeper into the victim and the person asking the questions into the villain. And it's the oldest trick in the book. And yes, this is about Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro, in the sense that he has positioned himself publicly as a kind of enforcer of acceptable discourse. Let's run it by Ben, see what he thinks. He's the God. He's the gatekeeper. He's the final word. But it's also about the wider group of commentators and people and personalities who jump on command. The ones, these sick bastards who suddenly become very brave when attacking somebody else, when attacking someone who doesn't control their paycheck. Now, the ones, by the way, who use the language of this principle while acting like courtiers, no. The ones who talk constantly about how the left cancels people And then they try to do the same thing. Don't forget, see, the left wants to shut up what you say. The right wants to shut up what you think. And they do this with a smile and the scripture quote. Such faux. They weigh their faith and they weigh their supremacy. They wear it almost like an emblem or something. And the more they do it, the more they teach the audience an ugly lesson that the conservative movement has its own versions of the same behavior. By the way, is this conservative or not? I don't know. I can't tell you. See, that's the thing which is the most important. I can't tell you what this is. I don't know what this is. And there are young people watching right now who are trying to figure out, what do I do exactly? Please, I'm begging you, take this Candace story to heart, but do not extrapolate this. This is not about left or right or up or down. Don't blame the left or the right or anybody for this matter. This is a different story. This is a person who thought she could say whatever she wants. This is a person who thought that, well, certainly everybody's going to want to figure out who killed Charlie and And the people who want to shut you up are the ones who have something to hide. You only take flack when you're over the target. And Erika, I cannot believe the collapse of Erika in terms of that sense of, put it this way, the feeling that people had, the sense of emotion, was only as it applied to Charlie, not really her on her own. So think about what I said, my friends. Think very, very carefully. This is a brand new, and again, I keep saying for younger people, follow this, welcome this. This might be your red pill. This might be the moment you never forget when you saw what they did to her. And I've seen it before in a million cases. This is what they do. They never attack the story. They attack the person. That's all they know. These are these vicious, sniveling, cutthroat, but these people who have no morality, and they walk around so pious with this religious, they're always shoving religion down your throat, and they're the worst. They're the worst. I mean, they all they talk about is God, 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 or Candace not paying homage or fealty to certain aspects of God, and I'll leave it at that. And then they turn around to be the biggest sinners and most vile, evil people anybody's ever seen. So that's where we are. Don't give up on Candace. I'm not. She's bigger than ever, and she is so great. So please, my friends, thank you for watching. Have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much for your kind words. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for following my wife at Lynn's Warriors as she fights on behalf of children to stop human trafficking and child predation. And also, my friends, I put a particular little set of questions to follow, and I'd love for you to weigh in. Thank you for watching this. Please do me a favor, a big favor. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And whatever you do, I beg, beseech, importune, I should say, and ask and beseech and request that you comment as you see fit.